This is the Assay office in London, and it's here that silver and other precious metals have been assessed for quality since the year 1300.
The methods of testing and hallmarking have changed over the years, and now it's a mix of computers and old-fashioned handiwork.
If you have a piece of silver to hand, just have a look at the hallmarks. The first mark on this piece says GH, which is what's called the sponsor's mark. The next mark is the Lion Passel, which is the traditional British mark to show that it is actually silver. Next door is 925 to indicate the purity of the silver. The leopard's head, which has been used since the year 1300 to indicate a piece of silver marked here in London. And next door to that is the date letter. In this case, a little G to indicate the year 2006.
Would you believe it? Over 20,000 pieces of silver and jewellery arrive in this office every day for hallmarking. Each piece has to be tested to establish that it has the correct fineness of silver in it. And the first test is called the touchstone test. If we take this silver spoon, which has been hallmarked, then take this little ring, which may or may not be silver at all, and this little ring, which probably is silver, what happens is the spoon, the suspect ring, and finally, the last piece is rubbed on the stone, which makes a mark. Then the expert takes the silver sulfate solution, and if you look at the line running across the touchstone, the outside one is clear, the inside one is clear, but the middle one is dark across the center. That means that that piece is rejected. We know that the spoon is good, but this little ring, before it's hallmarked, goes through for the next test, which is the spectrometer test. If I get the piece of silver lined up on that screen, which you can see over there, shut the lid, and abracadabra, it comes up with the purity rating, 932 parts to the 1,000. 925 is the hallmarking standard, so that ring has passed that test.
The final test is called titration. Samples of silver are weighed and dissolved in hot nitric acid, forming silver nitrate. This is mixed with sodium chloride, and the reaction produces a white solid called silver chloride. It's all monitored by computer, and the purity of silver is calculated to an accuracy of 1 part per 1,000.
And if a piece of silver passes all those tests, it's ready to be hallmarked. The traditional form of hallmarking is hand marking. The hallmarker gives it a thump or two, and lo and behold, there is a glorious Lion Passel.
These days, you can also have your hallmark etched using a high-powered laser.
Ha ha! There we have it. Look, our very own bargain hunt, fully hallmarked piece of silver. Isn't that charming? Anyway, what would that cost to have it marked? Well, a standard piece of silver, 52p per piece. A few pennies more for the laser marking service. Now that is what I call a bargain.